This just in, Gary. FollowUp Boss has agreed to sell to none other than the Zillow Group. This is a big headline. Let's break this down.
Seems newsworthy, especially for the amount of money that Zillow paid FollowUp
I
Boss.
was
But
reading the press release. They paid like 400, 500, $400 million of cash consideration, and gobs and gobs of money is being transacted here. But,
that is a technical term. It is gobs of money, and which might be concerning for a lot of people. It might not. A lot of people might just shrug it off and say, okay, Zillow's making another move. But what does this actually mean for you? And what
if
does
you're
this
using,
mean for the
what does
real
this
estate
mean for
industry?
you if you're using FollowUp Boss? And one of the things that sparked our interest in this conversation is at the Paperless Agent, through our marketing club, we have lots and lots of members in our software, and there are some of our members who were also or are using FollowUp Boss as a complementary to the platform that we provide. And they were in there saying, well, Gary, why don't you read some of the comments that people were putting in our private Facebook group?
Isn't this what you do on the news?
Yeah, paper that you stack it.
Let me actually read from my computer screen. Yeah, here's what's happening. John just said, whoa, I'm looking for new CRM solutions since my current product, FollowUp Boss, just sold out to Zillow. Thanks in advance. Troy said, I just saw that today and was absolutely stunned. Mary said, what? And then Jolene said, I know it's crazy because I'm with FollowUp Boss. I heard some things about this and I'm getting out. And so there's a lot going on with this purchase that a lot of real estate agents who are currently using FollowUp Boss as their CRM tool are saying,
why is
I don't
that?
think so.
Why do you think they would want to leave FollowUp Boss just because it's getting bought by Zillow?
I think there's an inherent lack of trust in the real estate industry against Zillow. And for Zillow to acquire your tool that has all of your contact information for all of your contacts and connections, which is, by the way, that's the value that we have in real estate. And that's something that I don't think that a lot of people think about is like, what is the inherent value that you have in real estate?
What's your asset?
Contacts. It is your asset.
It's a business asset that you have,
absolutely,
right? Your contacts
and
connections.
Contacts and connections.
Well, that means
now
that
Zillow
owns that
just
asset.
bought that.
Okay, now I can see why people would be looking for alternatives. Let me ask you, Gary, what are some of the recommendations that people are suggesting that if they want to move off FollowUp Boss, what CRM would be a good CRM that they might move to?
Allow me to pull that question up. But one of the questions is, why are you using a CRM? I love this question. I'm reading it from my screen. Like, why are you even using a CRM like FollowUp Boss? And so that begs the question, why would you be using a CRM? Are they even necessary? Or is a tool that is not quite as robust and complicated maybe better for you? So a lot of people are like, you know what? I wasn't even using it anyway, but it has all of my data in there. I'm pulling my data off, and it's like I'm taking my toys and I'm going home.
Well, the funny thing that you bring it up is, when I think of a traditional approach to a CRM, right? So a CRM is a customer or client relationship management tool. This was very important back in the earlier days of technology, right? Of being able to just stay on top of conversations and stay on top of exchanges that were happening, because the tool set that we had back in those days in the 80s and 90s and so on and so forth were not nearly as powerful as they are today. I'll give you one example, Gary. Do you remember back in the day when you used to categorize every email that you received into a specific folder? Do you remember those? Many of us may be still doing that practice, not realizing that the Gmail search thing negated the need for you to do that, right? Yet there's many of us who have that habit because that's what we grew up with, right? Is categorizing our emails and categorizing everything and putting it in folders and so on and so forth. Yet the technology has evolved to a point where it's really not necessary. The ability for these tools to search and locate what you're looking for is much easier and shorter and takes a lot less time. So that's how they use it. So my mind goes to the CRM thing too, is like, are parts of that necessary? I mean, these days, most of our conversations are documented because of email and text and so on and so forth. So the documentation of that isn't as important. So what would we use it for? Marketing, probably. However, there are better marketing tools if you're going to do marketing with your CRM, unfortunately, many of those CRMs aren't optimized for things like inbox placement. They're not optimized for, breaking past the spam and stuff like that. And so unfortunately, they are good management tools, but they're not great marketing tools, right? And so like for us, we're leaning more on the marketing tool side of the equation and kind of using more of a CRM light, I guess is the best way to answer it, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I know agents who are selling between 50 and $100 million of real estate every year. They don't have a complicated CRM tool. Why? Because number one, they're too busy to use it. And number two, there are tools out there that accomplish the same thing without them having this robust, very expensive tool that they hardly or maybe never even log into to use. And those are going to be CRM light tools that have all of the marketing and outreach and branding built into it that really is just helping you stay in touch with your contacts and connections. And in reality, Chris, that's what most of us need in the first place and in the last place. And so is this really breaking news?
I think if you're a FollowUp Boss user concerned about your data, you'll definitely, I mean, this is true of anything, right, Gary? They should probably read the terms and conditions and see how they're changing. Because I would want to know, hey, is my data going to be protected? How is it going to be protected? Does this acquisition somehow affect the integrity of my data? These are the questions that I would have, right? I don't know who you would ask over there, but I guess maybe you ask support. But pay extra special attention in coming weeks and months to any updates to the terms of service. This happens a lot of times. You get an email from a company saying, hey, we updated our terms of service. Yeah.
Do you ever read it?
No, I never do. I never do. But
when a company that is actually out to compete with me buys a tool that has all of my data, I want to know what they're going to be doing with that data. Otherwise, I'm yanking my data off of their servers immediately. That's just for me. Several of our clients over here are really concerned about this and are yanking that all of this information. One of these individuals said, well, why do you need a CRM in the first place? And one of them just said, mostly for database organization and marketing. And I'm like, well, we just
There's better tools. There are better tools for that
because there are better tools for that. So perhaps this is a great wake-up call. Perhaps this is a moment for us as real estate agents and brokers to actually look at the technology stack that we're spending, perhaps wasting money on, that are not really producing results, and saying, not anymore. And, we should be doing this every single year. We should be examining the tools and resources that we're spending money on. And if it's not producing a result for us, and it's not producing the desired effect, then what are we spending the money for? So that's what I look at this as. Is for me, this is just a great wake-up call and a reminder to review your expenses and dump the stuff that's not serving you. And whether it's FollowUp Boss or some other tool, it's a great wake-up call. So wake up, take notice, pay attention, see what's going on, and see if you actually even need these tools anyway.
There you have it. I think it's always good to scrutinize your expenses. And the question may be that, some of these maybe I should double down on, not from expense wise, but using them wise, right? Like sometimes I'll look at a tool and say, gosh, I need to get back into using that one. Or gosh, I did have a good experience, but I got busy from using it. So definitely scrutinize it. I think that making sure that it gets the result that you're looking for. And I think the concern that a lot of people have just from, our private Facebook group and the discussion that's going on is the concern that they have is the integrity of my data. Is that still going to be protected? Is that still my asset, or is that going to become somebody else's asset to be able to leverage? And I think those are the questions that we want to ask ourselves and get some answers to. So
that's the breaking news for today. And by the way, if you like what you just saw and heard, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and search for us online at The Paperless Agent. And by the way, if you're in search of marketing tools and resources that are going to use your data for your best interest to make sure that you get the leads that you're entitled to, make sure that you check out the Paperless Agent Marketing Club, because that's what we're here for.